What is shaking YouTube? The Angel of Authenticity here, live atop the motorcycle shop. Here to talk about moral absolute. Apparently it was Blue. Alright, Blue. He just wants his belly scratched. Let me just get this other camera rolling for my other streams and my other channels. I think this is a really important topic to talk about. Is it live? Oh, I'm live in a lot of places. Not just the ones you know about or that you found on coincidence. All right. Try to get in view of both of them. All right, so there we go, maybe. Moral absolute. What do we have? God. What is God? Why do we have him? Atheists all over America, like at these academia type places, which is a total scam, man. It's a scam. It's a fucking big scam. Education is not a scam. Academia is a scam. I'm going to break this down just real quick because it's off point. Number one, the government says, you got to have a certificate to work that job and make all that money. I wonder how you'll do that. And the universities come out and say, oh, well, we'll teach them how for a fee, and then they do that and they learn how to have a certificate, not because they're the best ones for the job. That's like the guy grunting work there at the little shop or whatever with the old man learning the trade because they have a certificate. And everybody knows when college kids with a certificate how smart they are. It's a scam. It's a scam. It's a scam. It's like rooting evil into your... No, I'm not going to say everybody in academia is evil. The only one I can think of that's not, though, for sure, is Melvina Reynolds. Because she had 2 degrees. She had a doctorate in music by the time she died. But she went to Berkeley and got... at the beginning of her... She went back to Berkeley to get her doctorate. But she... got her doctorate in literature, English, or whatever it was at first, and then went on to playing the guitar, being an activist, doing her thing. They ruled her as an activist because she was telling the truth. I mean, what kind of country do we live in that telling the truth is activism? What is that? What are we active against? Like whoever's running our world? Like, why are we letting them run our world if we're against that? Total destruction is the only thing that bloodline that's running our world wants. Going back to the Ross. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. I'm not going to speculate, but I'm going to go off of history and what's been researched already by people that I find credible. What is evil? If somebody raped your little sister, she was 13 years old, say, and some guy just got out of the county jail or something, or the prison system, or even maybe he didn't. Just say he was some weird guy down the road. And he breaks into your house and he rapes your little girl. You would consider that evil. You would consider that a reason to shoot him dead at scene. Of course, he's breaking into your house. Shoot him dead. Everybody would agree that that's probably a moral thing to do. Now you find out later on, fast forward from a different perspective, maybe. Like maybe that guy that broke into that house was freezing to death because the cops just impounded his car and made him walk. Just say. And it's like it is now in Indiana. It's very cold temperatures. You can't survive without no gear. And even with gear, you're going to only have so much time to get to warmth. You either got to make a fire, you're going to have to find shelter, to get warm, because I know on my motorcycle, it's every 7 miles in the cold weather like this. I got to stop to warm up my hands if there wasn't so much snow where I could ride. But like most winters, like I can ride and it's like 16 degrees outside, but you got to stop to warm up your hands for a little while. Otherwise they'll be frostbitten, they'll be black and done. Okay. So like, just say this guy ran in, to a house and he couldn't get in, and he opened up a window to get in because he was literally like freezing to death. His fingers were turning black. And he was walking and he didn't have any other option. He thought the place was abandoned, and he sneaks in this house to try to get warm. And it's a little girl's room, and this guy comes in, he shoots him dead. I mean, is that evil? I mean, I would say not. Nobody would know that. I mean, like, how would you know? That's why I don't keep guns. Because I don't want to kill somebody's 15-year-old kid sneaking into my house, stealing the Xbox or something, you know. I don't want to kill a drug addict just trying to get a fix. Because he needed something of mine that I don't have, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't want to lose my life. No, I don't have compassion for people that take other things of other people's. But at the same time, is it worth taking a life for that? I don't feel like I want that burden on my life for something so small. Moral absolute. People will say, well, what's the point of God? What is God? Everything. He's moral absolute. Because what is child molestation in one country is maybe legal in another. So that migrant that comes over may not realize that's illegal. Does that make them evil? If you're growing up in a family that's like an Italian mob family or something, you know what I mean? And things happen in the family and you don't speak about it, is that evil? Is that a victim of evil? Or is that none of that? Is that just the way life is? You know, people want to question God and everything that he does and want to break apart his story, and that's totally demonic right there. Every bit of it. Because the point of Jesus, the point of God was goodness and kindness and helping each other out, not having all the nefarious feelings that our shadow side wants to bring about, talking about jealousy and like, oh, you know, they're talking about you. Oh, you know, he's in there doing that thing with that girl, you know, like all them things that surface because you have a fear of abandonment, or you have a fear of being misunderstood, or you have a fear of looking like the bad guy, or you have a fear of being found out that you masturbate twice a day. You know, that's what it all boils down to. Your shadow side starts saying, oh, don't do that. And then to boot, humans have their neurological side saying, oh, no, last time you did that, that didn't work good. Like, no, you can't climb that ladder. Remember, last time you climbed that ladder, you fell down and it hurt. You broke your arm. Remember, don't climb that ladder. Oh, no. Absolutely not. Do not get in a car. You cannot get in a car. Remember the last time? Remember? You got smashed into. Remember? It was bad. It was scary. It was loud. Remember? Don't do that. Don't get in that car. Our nervous system is here to like keep us safe and to put off warning danger every time anything seems like it's repeating itself. You know, if we have an experience with a bottle of pop, it's going to tell us like, oh, whoa. Nope, pop's off limits. Remember that cat come flying off when it was shook up and it popped you in the eye. And that could have taken an eye out. We can't have none of that. It's kind of like having your like grandma that taught Sunday school monitoring your entire life. Like, we all know that you can't listen to grandma all the time like that. Like, she means well. It's like, okay, buddy, I get it, but we're safe. This will be okay this time. I'm paying attention this time. We didn't shake it up. It'll be all right. And you have to convince your body. You need to tell your body that. I know it sounds strange, but you need to literally tell your body that it's okay. Because it's going to go into that fight or flight. It's going to go into that, oh, shit. It don't matter if you're a big bed biker or a gangster, like double fucking nines, you know, it don't matter. It don't matter if you're fucking a politician like you. Darling, is my red and white striped tie okay for today? Or should I go with the red and gray? You know, it don't matter. It don't matter who you are. You're still going to have them instincts in your body, like saying, oh, the last time I went in front of the Senate, they were scolding me because I didn't have a pencil. Like, you know, you're going to make sure you have two on you. I'm just saying. It's always going to be like that no matter who you are, whatever turn you make, whatever. That's what the opposition is. Satan is opposition. That's all it means. We had Jesus and we had the opposition. Just know that. Which means Jesus is the solid foundation. God is the solid foundation. He's the creator. Moral absolute. What is moral absolute? What is good to me may not be good to you. I say snitches get stitches. No, I don't even say that. I say snitches are in ditches. Like back in the old school days, snitches didn't even have a word. They didn't get a chance to like write it. You know what I mean? If they were a turncoat, they were in treason, they were whatever, then like they just disappeared. Nobody ever says nothing. Because you know why? Because they weren't for us. You know, whatever works against you, God makes work for you. However, like to the next guy over, that guy was his neighbor that mowed his lawn or something, he might think, oh man, the murderers and the assholes and tyrants and whatever. And it might not be right to them. But God considers treason the biggest form of betrayal. Don't hold any other gods before him. But like treason is a big deal in the layers of hell. If you believe in all that, I don't remember who did that. I can't think of his name right now, but you know, he had the levels of hell. Like the fourth level, it was for like the greedy people, and they would have to carry these weights, and they were going in a circle carrying these weights, and they'd have to pick up their big weight, boom, and set it down to get over the next thing so the wheel could turn. You know, that's what they do in hell all day long because they're so greedy and they can't get enough, you know, they gotta circle around each other. They're all there chained with a ball. Bam. You know? So like I'm just saying, there's a spot for all them people. But I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, moral absolute. What's good to me isn't necessarily good to you. And what's good to you isn't necessarily good to me. And I think we could all agree, though, a moral compass is inside of us when we're born. We are inherently good. If you are, in fact, a human being, you will shed a tear over tear-jerky moments, you know, and you'll have empathy for other people. Now that we're having a new world, it is the new paranormal, I call it. Things are changing. We're evolving as humans. We need different things to eat. Carnivorism isn't working out for a lot of us anymore. You need your fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and all these things. Because we don't have a whole bunch of pointy teeth like demons. That would be a carnivore and a half, you know. We got a couple pointy teeth, sure. But we have flat teeth because we're supposed to eat vegetables. We're more plant-like than we are animal-like. That is a fact. We might not have always been like that, but we have evolved to that point, and that's where we're at now, moving forward for all you people in the back that can't hear. And that's where we're at, because we're at this different level where the physicalities and the materialism and things like that are dissipating out of our lives. And sure, they're there in the 5D, but like they're not there in the same way, and you don't have to pay to exist. Moral absolute is about sovereignty. It's about good versus corrupt. And it seems like people could understand corruptness when it happens to them in their life with a certain agency or a certain thing in their life, you know, that goes wrong. They could understand it then. They see it. They're like, wow, this is fucked up. I remember this one girl on YouTube talking about how they were just going to freaking prison everybody up and energetically use them. Or I remember this one person on YouTube talking about how they were just murdering everybody, and there's very little people actually left. The people that are here are actually like, they're skin suits being read by a computer. You know, if you don't leave a shit stain in your underwear, or you can't smell your shit before you put it in the dirty clothes, you probably ain't human. So like if you're some girl out there doing some dude's laundry and they ain't never had no booger on their sleeve ever, you know what I mean? It's something to wonder, because this is a human experience here. And like humans are messy, dirty, disgusting assholes inherently. I could admit that about myself because I'm a human. But I'm also a chosen human being, I guess. They call it chosen. Chose for missions like this. This is why I can run my mouth and others cannot. This is why you could sit there and do all whatever you want to fucking wish upon me and it won't affect me, because I'm here ordained by God. My ancestors and all that I love are here too, and all that I don't know even. There's so many people from the underworld I don't know that are here with me. And they're here with me because a chosen person has to be chosen by God and by the light and by the dark and the shadow and all that. They're chosen by everybody, the underworld, the upper world, as above, so below. And I'm honored for that. I am. What I got to do, I'm not really sure. I go day by day, and that's part of having faith in God, and that's part of why I have God's favor. So anybody that thinks I have it easy, go get fucked. Go get fucked and come and tell that to me, to my face. Because I speak about God, which is moral absolute, which is what's right. Where's our standards? Where is it wrong and where is it right as a society? Before I go into any situation, I'm prophetic anyway. And some people call it psychic, some people call it whatever, doodah, visions, dreams, whatever. I walk different timelines, I walk different realms, different dimensions, different places. I'm welcome everywhere. I can go anywhere I want, I believe. I think I have been everywhere, and even if I didn't want to go, I at least seen it. My point is, there has to be a standard for what's good and what's unacceptable in society. And even though that we're all different and we all share different backgrounds and ethnicities, we have to come to an absolute of what is wrong, what is right. We could all agree, if you rape a child, that's wrong. That's it. Whatever happens to that person, nobody's going to give a shit about. They're not. But we have to stop and think, why is that person like that, and who raped them and who molested them? Now that we know that this is such a cycle, where does the buck stop? A lot of times when these people are found out, they're not found out because of payoffs and bribes and buttery fingers, that it was because they were molested. I mean, they were a victim. They were just the older prodigy of molestation. When you turn 18, they don't let you go when you're sex trafficked or you were stolen for child porn. You think they let you go at 18? No. They turn up as people that are 18, 20 years old at the border, barefooted, trying to get into America with a baby in their hand, and they're calling them criminals because they were admitted that they were coming here to have sex for money or something, because that's the only thing they've ever known in their whole life, and they've been cut out in a dungeon or a trunk of a car practically. You know what I mean? Like, they're criminals. If you ask that fucking bullshit nigger in Florida that talks from Polk County, Florida, that's always on the line, he's an ignorant bastard, dude. He's one of the worst. He said, we had John's as young as 15 years old in this sex trafficking deal. John's as young as 15 years old. Criminals that they were calling, this girl must have been 18 years old with an 18-month-old baby on tote with no shoes on and coming across the border, and was cooperative and saying, hey, I'm just supposed to, I don't have no paperwork or nothing. And they bust her to the poisonous location in Chicago and whatever not. But they were calling her a criminal, saying that she was going to come over here and commit crimes. She had already had a baby with somebody that slit somebody's throat in Chile, like, you just said what? This girl come over the border, not able to speak English, no paperwork, no clothes on barely, with an 18-month-old baby on her hip, and you're calling her a criminal? Do you think when you're done being sex trafficked at 18 years old, they just let you go free? I mean, what the fuck does these people think? Like, a 15-year-old John? Come on, man. How many 15-year-olds do you know running around in Corvettes going and hiring hookers in Florida? I'm just saying, man. You know what I mean? Like, you like little boys and you don't want to get caught. And that guy's got to pay off. You got buttery-ass palms. Moral absolute. Moral absolute, I think we could all agree, is them people that have all them little babies down in the tunnels, and all these people that they fucking kidnap from like birth spiritually, and they infiltrate their families, and they infiltrate with their families and all this other shit. That's moral absolute to me. And that's God's reckoning coming right now. The heavens are opening, and people are going to learn why the magic doesn't work on me. They're going to learn how far God will let them go and how far God will take it to destroy them in his own little way, because God wants all our souls to be saved, and so do I. I really do. I want to teach people lessons. I don't ever want somebody to damn themselves when they could be saved. And anybody that's ever met me for 1 second knows I give people that opportunity to the max, because I don't speculate. Speculation is not good for you. Assuming, everybody knows about all that. So I just invite you to imagine. Just invite you to imagine a world where there's nobody to blame, and the old system being gone, which means we have a lot of work to do. because we need to establish alternative enforcement. We need to establish education for our children. We need to establish a barter and trade market so that we could trade and barter our services so we have the food and the supplies that we need. And we need to establish a new way of doing things so our soil can regroup from all the poison it's had put in us, in our bodies, all the poison that's been put in us. I say the earth's like us, but it is us. Our earth is sick because of man. Demonic men wanting power and control. That's all demonic. There's no righteous man out there that has any desire to have power and control, because righteous people already have power and control ordained by God here to take territory back for what is good and what is just. And today I say that the balances of the scales are reckoning. And all them evil motherfuckers that said, they're going to do it on the scales, on. They've been loading that shit on. It's like the scrapyard, you know. I mean, the heavier the better. But not with God, it ain't. They don't get that yet. Not with God, it's whosoever is lighter than a feather wins. So while these people load down their scales, they don't realize that they're just building a case against themselves. And with that, I say this: if you don't believe in God, look at our design. Look at the design of a leaf, of the whole ecosystem. Look at the design of our fingerprints, how we're all individual and unique. Our handprints. A little rat even has little hands. Look at how important the balance is. Like getting rid of honeybees, say, kills us all. And tell me that was just an accident exploding in the universe. You can't. We are of intelligent design. There is an intelligent creator, and there is an intelligent reason why we're here doing what we do. And if you do it in demonic or nasty ways, and if you sit there and spellcast against other people and wish other people harm, and you sit there and try to summon deities and spirits and things from the underworld to try to haunt these people, you're fucking yourselves when you touch the wrong person. Because a curse without cause will not land. And I don't care which spirit or deity you're working with. They all know not to touch the anointed. They know not to touch certain bloodlines. They know not to do certain things because it'll curse their bloodlines too. And that's what these little jinky Sesame Street crack magic people don't understand. They think they're all like together and strong because God will let you think that it's working for quite a while. And I promise you it ain't. Not when you're coming against chosen people that were ordained by God here, taking territory back and here to help the earth and everything on it, in it, around it, as God ordained it. You can't beat God. Ask the underworld. They don't want to beat God. These people trying to get rid of gender and all that shit, that's going against the natural laws of the world, like universal laws that the Hermetic Doodads freaking practice. Like, there's 7 of them I know, and the 7th one is care, as far as I know, because you have to have care for all the other ones to work. But one of them laws is the law of gender. The law of gender. So them people are pretty pissed off with this demonic Luciferian bullshit going on too. They're kind of like the guy in the club that just causes too much attention and does all that bad shit and gets everybody busted, you know? That's all the devil is right now in a lot of ways. I'm not talking about the dark spirits or the shadow people. I ain't talking about them. I'm not talking about people that are like in the underworld necessarily. I'm talking about the particular sickos that want to do things that aren't natural and not organic of the world and want to poison the world and these beautiful herbs and trees and plants and the beautiful system that we have here, just like our bodies. It's a beautiful system. And it's a day of reckoning. The heavens are opening up. And if you didn't believe in God, you're going to soon. And if God didn't exist, he does now, after a couple thousand years of people praying on him. Bet that. I know that God's real. I've seen him. I've been there. I've been to the 5D, into 3D, in the 5D, in this timeline, in that timeline, and there, and there. And the ether's there. I could see what you're thinking if I choose to. I don't usually harness any of that power. God usually makes me see it. That's when I go. And that's why God loves me and not a lot of other people right now. Because I'm obedient. And being obedient to God is first in my life. Even above everything else I've ever done. Even against my motherly, humanly instincts to go do this or go do that. And God says, change your trajectory, Jennifer. And God always calls you by your name. Don't make no mistakes. He won't call you by your nickname. He's not going to call you by a half name. He's going to call you by your name. And that's important to remember. Like if you're dating girls or something like that, like which one calls you by your name? That actually calls you by your name. Mr. Name. You know? That's important. That's real important. Because that means they're recognizing who you are to spirit. People put things out. I think the devil makes them do it. Like when you put things out under a pen name or a pseudonym or whatever name, or they get you to change your identity because you read it on people, or you change your identity because you join a doodah, like you're robbing yourself of your essence and your true, what is meant for you. It really is. I mean, people can have different names and do whatever, but like your name, when you're assigned your name at birth, means something. And I know I kept my name clean my whole life for a reason, and I don't want to just give it up for nothing. I wouldn't just give it up for nothing. I kept my name clean. It's the most common name ever. I was named after a soap opera character, they say. I wonder what my real name was. Nobody buys that. You know, I tell them that story. They don't buy it all the time, and I wonder why. I bought it all my life until that started happening too much. Like, who cares, though? I feel like, are we a name? Or are we who we are? Like, but I think when we're born, maybe certain things are ordained to come out under our name, under our voice, under our presence, under our bloodline, under our sanctity under God, to change things and to be in certain places at certain times so the vibration could be lifted and raised and we could bring the good to this world. It only takes one light worker. Let me say this again. I've said it a lot, but one light worker, one of Jesus's little light workers, one of God's little chosen ones, the anointed, the appointed, the little Susie Snowflake and the Grinch to save it all. And this is historically known. This happens time after time after time again. You got David and Goliath. You got the kids that got thrown in the furnace. They cranked the furnace up 7 times hotter than normal. Them kids were still alive and well. It didn't even smell like smoke when they stepped out of the furnace. That's God. You don't touch God's anointed. If you're wishing harm on people and there's bad things coming back to you almost instantly, or maybe it's later on. Maybe it's a sickness. That's usually how God does it. Maybe you're sick. Maybe it didn't hit you, and maybe even worse, it hit that innocent person sitting next to you and they're dead now. Because of your wrongdoings, because of what you wish upon people. You want it to hit me, say. Just for example, a group of people saying, oh, we fucked her over a lot. We just get rid of her, nobody will know. But it's not going to hit me because I'm anointed and chosen by God. And the ancestors, your ancestors too. The dark and the light. You could summon anybody you want from either side, and they're not going to come against me. It's going to bounce off of me, the law of the universe, and ricochet right back to the center. If it don't hit the center, it's going to go right to the person next to them. And they're going to die, or they're going to get into a wreck, or something terrible, whatever you wanted for the person you were wishing it against. And these are the reasons why we have moral absolute and why we have the teachings of Jesus and God, because we need something to go by. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I'm feeling so frustrated. I'm so angry. I'm so jealous. Why them? I work so much harder. Like, you need to be able to lean into God for that. And God will always give you answers. That's the answers coming from your higher self. That's answers coming from the divine, your ancestors, your past over loved ones. everything good when it's coming like this. When you're feeling it down here, though, and it's like coming up and you're fucking practically shitting it out, that's the devil all the time. Like, you know, come on, guys. You should have a flow through your body. You know? Well, I just wish everybody well. I know this winter is going to be hard on everybody. It's like a deep freeze, and it's disheartening because I could feel all the souls succumbing to the cold. And I just wish everybody well for the Christmas season. And I want you all to really think about moral absolute. If you don't believe in God, or you believe that it's okay to run sorcery, your Sesame Street crack magic when you're not even ordained to do things like that, that's just fucking you up, man. That's why you have boils on your face, or your legs, or your fucking ears, or that's why you have fucking dried toes, or fucking your hair's falling out. That's why you're getting uglier and fatter by the day. That's why your fucking family's leaving you and hates you. I mean, like, why you're miserable in your job. That's why you fucking can't stop and can't get ahead because you get a ticket every time you leave the house. Like, I'm just saying, get right with God. Get in alignment with the universe, your higher self, and ask them, who am I? That's the ticket. Who am I? And the universe will answer you. Just keep saying it. Who am I? When you find yourself in that situation of, how did I get here? How the fuck did I get here? Like, I didn't mean to get here. It wasn't supposed to be like this. It was supposed to be something totally different. How did I get here? Who am I? Who have I become? Who am I? Who am I meant to be? And ask yourself them questions. And I believe that it'll help a lot of people. So until next time, just checking in here. The Angel of Authenticity from Top the Motorcycle Shop, reminding you to get real and stay that way.